Hello, dear colleagues, dear Metro heroes. Welcome to a new episode of More Podcast. My name is Bernd Reude from Internal Communications at Metro AG. And a very special hello to all Metro managers. Today it's about you, meaning about all those who lead employees and teams at Metro. And of course, it's also about all those who are being led. So this episode is about leadership, and this topic really concerns each and every one of us. Fact is, leadership has changed dramatically with our move to our home offices. Coaching, motivation, feedback, further development of employees, all that via Teams video conference? Sounds tricky. And that's what I'm talking about today with Maren Gerhäuser-von Fenn from the House of Learning at Metro AG. Hello, Maren.
Hi Bernd. Thanks for the invitation.
Great to have you here. And thanks for coming here today to the Metro campus in Düsseldorf. And great that your first day after your vacation led you to me. I hope you had a good time and that you enjoyed already the outdoor gastronomy, maybe?
Honestly, I didn't enjoy the outdoor gastronomy so far because it was too crowded. It was so crowded and I didn't dare to join the people. So, but we had the first invitation of friends to our garden and had a nice barbecue. And of course, with meat from Metro.
That sounds great. Today, we want to talk about the topic of leading employees in the new normal. In other words, how leadership has changed due to the lockdown and home office situation, and also why good leadership is more important today than ever before. And of course, we want to give our people out there some examples of how good leadership can look like and what employees and managers can do to make teamwork run well. And Maren, hopefully you've also thought of your sound souvenir for us.
Yes, of course.
We're all looking forward to it. And we are all curious to hear which sound is so typical for your new work situation. It's definitely going to be exciting.
Yes, you can be excited.
But first, we want to talk about our topic, Maren, about leadership in the new normal. Actually, even without Corona and lockdown, the topic would be a super wide field that we could talk about for hours. So Maren, from your point of view, what has changed in terms of leadership under the new conditions and that we are all working alone in our home office most of the time?
Yes, and you're absolutely right. There are so many changes out there, being locked down in home office, in this hybrid working, switching from office, not office, who's allowed, not allowed, every week, new regulations. Yes, there is a lot which has changed in the outer world, but maybe let me first start with has not changed in regard to leadership. So leaders still need to give a guidance, a vision, so a look out into the future. They still need to be close with their teams, enabling proximity, feedback, dialogue, conversation. And they still need to deliver results, so that they need to take care of performance and they need to take care of changes. So the what they need to do, this has not changed. But what has dramatically changed is the how. How can I inspire, motivate people? How can I establish proximity, togetherness? How can I deliver results? And how can I realize changes? This has dramatically changed. Absolutely. Because especially the private situation where we are all in the last years had a dramatic influence on our working situation as well. Private has always been important at influencing a team and the leadership, but not as it has been in the last year.
But also from the other perspectives, so from the perspective of the employees, of the people who are being led. So how have the employees' needs and demands on their managers changed?
Yes, I think this is a very important point. So we from House of Learning, we think that more flexibility is needed, as well as creativity to find suitable solutions for individuals, always, of course, in balance with the business needs. And on top, the one-on-one conversations, team meetings are more important than ever in order to ensure the bonding, the communication, and understanding and the sharing. So really making use of technical tools to ensure a positive atmosphere, voicing and team bonding. And on top, the demands for safety at work and the continuous information about the business. I think this is always very, very important because we have seen that our customers, the situation is difficult. So I really need to be up to date with my information for my teammates. And as an employee myself, what do I need to do good and do performance? I need trust. I need freedom to act and time for conversation and exchange with my manager, but as well with my colleagues. And this was possible in the normal routine by walking to the desk, have a chat, and now I need to organize this. So I need to be much more intentional as an employee, but also as a manager.
Mm-hmm. And from my point of view, this works already very well, but many things in our new working world are still unfamiliar, and many of us feel overwhelmed in our isolated work situation. How can good leadership offer assistance here?
Yeah. I think this is also very individual because the needs are very individual. And this is so important that the manager really reaches out and engages in one-on-one conversation to find out what is the need, what is the family situation, what are the adoption, the flexibility I need to ensure as a line manager, and what are the business needs. So I always need to balance the personal needs with the business situation, of course. And I think what is needed in addition is really to think about the priorities. What is important for this week, maybe for this day, and then be in continuous dialogue with my people.
Mm. Okay, Maren, of course, also your working life has changed a lot. And now we would like to talk about your personal situation and especially your experiences and learnings in the home office. And therefore, like in every episode of More Podcast, I will ask you a little questionnaire to find out how you personally manage your new working situation. And this section is called Try New Things. Are you ready, Maren?
Yes, I am.
Like most of us, you work almost all the time at home and try new things. What have you tried new since you started working from home?
Very good question. I love it because what I tried new is really delivering workshops in regard to leadership, personal topics in front of the screen. I never thought that this is possible, honestly. I thought leadership training needs face-to-face presence. And creating a good atmosphere in online workshop, that's possible. I tried it out and it worked. And I tried out new things, how to deliver workshops via Teams.
Mm-hmm. And maybe you have also something personal, a personal learning from your new way of working?
Yes, breaks. Intentional breaks. That's my learning. Every half an hour, open the window, get out of the chair, do some stretching. And I even do some stretching exercises with my participants in front of the screen. And small things are so helpful.
Yeah. And is there also some other things which really bothers you in your home office or in your new working style? Or what do you miss most in Flex office?
I miss my colleagues, of course. I miss the personal conversation, a coffee pot in the hand, and then a personal chat. So it's always an effort to have a conversation with a colleague.
You already mentioned before that you're trying to do some breaks between meetings and so on. But do you have also a concrete life hack for working in home office?
The calendar.
Calendar.
Yes. Block breaks in your calendar.
Very
that would
innovative.
be my life hack. Yeah. Intentional breaks. You also need to be intentional. And you need to be intentional with yourself. So self-caring. I used to go to the gym, which is closed. So I do this with my family now, which is also fun and nice. And I change clothes.
Mm-hmm.
So when I go to work in my home office, I dress like in the office.
Okay. So not like what you hear from many of other colleagues. So just wearing their something sports clothes during the office hours or during work. So you dress yourself like you go to the office.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
So, okay, now we know how you're doing in home office and what you are thinking about. And according to that, you brought us your little sound souvenir, Maren, and what it is. We'll get to that later towards the end of the podcast. But now I would like to come back to our actual topic. Maren, we've already talked about the difficulties and challenges of leadership in the new normal. What are the biggest mistakes leaders can make in the current situation? Yeah,
I would say to wait and see, not to do anything. We have a huge chance out there, and this has already started, and I know colleagues are engaging that, really to create the future of tomorrow. So really not to wait and see, waiting to return to the old days, not to micromanage. I even think this is not, you can't micromanage nowadays. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
So letting go of course, control, try to get a good feeling. So to control, it's something what they should not do, not being available, shy away, and always turn off the camera.
Yeah.
I would say that's a no-go nowadays.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Not being open to learn and try new approaches. For example, especially what are the technical and digital tools out there. I think this is so important. And if they're not listening, not sharing, only business-like manner, and not caring for well-being.
So a lot of things which could be done wrong. And that leads me, of course, to my next questions. How can things be better? What should managers do and be aware of instead?
Yeah, I think also the learning together how digital tools can be used in the best way. I learned a lot from my colleagues and have an open ear and see what is out there. And you also need to find what is working for you, which app, which tools. So try it out and also maybe invite others and learn from each other. So what really fosters togetherness, and also listen to your colleagues. What are their needs? What are their desires and wishes for the future of tomorrow when we're thinking about returning to the office? What would be a good way how to do it? And I would also say encourage for physical meetings when they are allowed again. I think this is very important, and also be approachable and also share private learnings. We always start our leadership journeys with self-reflection, and I think it's so important that every leader takes from time to time some minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, or 10 minutes even to self-reflect how she or he is doing. In terms of well-being, in terms of stress, in terms of priorities. So everything what counts for our people is important for us as well. I mean, we're all being led. So we also think about what we need and then think about what our team needs and be available for conversations. And I personally think that the one-on-one conversations are more important than ever. To be there, to listen, ask good questions.
And this is also happening via Teams, via video conferencing. But is there also another way? What do you think is, or do you have another concrete example of a good way of showing good leadership?
Yes, I mean, physical meetings are allowed. So of course, why not going out and have a walk by talk? I think Christian mentioned it in the last podcast. I think this is a wonderful example how you can meet your people, of course. Have a walk and talk outside, nice nature. So why not?
Yeah. Maren, generally speaking, I think good leadership is the biggest challenge for most managers. And what do you think? Where do managers start to improve their leadership? What are the first steps?
I think feedback is so important to ask. This is always, I think, a good start. And it does not mean that if I get the feedback that I need to completely shift my behavior, but then at least I know what is the impact of my leadership, how I am doing, and what is the result of my leadership. So I think this is a very good first step. And taking care to deal with emotions and stress. So balance emotions. And of course, for leaders, it always means for yourself first, but also have an eye on your team. How is the stress level? Make it a topic, talk about it. And then the physical health. Of course, what you eat, your movements, and enough sleep is very important. And also have a look. I mean, you don't need to ask your people how many hours they slept, but if they're looking exhausted or tired, and you can see this through the screen, voice it in a one-on-one conversation. Social health, togetherness, so important. We have a wonderful approach here at Metro with the more conversations, with the talks. So a lot of occasions. Make it open as a leader to your people. Allow them to participate, because in home office you're isolated, and whom are you working for? So, hi, we are Metro. Yeah, we are still there and we are still your employer. So increase the loyalty and the bonding also to your employer. It's so important. And also encourage the team to meet regular. And of course, the ability to work with digital tools and why we are doing what we're doing. So the purpose. This is also much more important also to address it and to make it why we are doing what we are doing. So the big picture.
Okay, so good leadership can be learned. Okay, to be a good leader, you certainly need a little talent. Some have more, others less. But in general, good leadership can be learned, and also how to create a pleasant and performance-enhancing working environment. Maren, what training offers, especially on the topic of leading in the new normal, are there from the House of Learning?
Yeah, no surprise here. We offer a training. It's called Leading in the New Normal. It's only twice 2.5 hours block. And it's building upon our content from Lead and Win, and especially addressing the challenges we were talking about. So I think I can really recommend it. And as I mentioned several times, to be able to use digital working tools, there's a United page from House of Learning with a lot of digital tools available nowadays. It's constantly growing. So I can really recommend this to our leadership population. And as we are now engaging in Empower, everything what is in the process of Empower is really supporting the leading in the new now. So, for instance, having regular conversations, the ability to ask and receive feedback, very nice tool and a very good process supporting leading in the new now, exactly in the way we want it to be.
And where I can find information on all these
United,
trainings?
House of Learning, and United Campus HR. These are the 2 pages you shouldn't miss as a people manager.
Okay, great. So United is a place to be and to know more about skills. And yeah, there are a lot of possibilities to improve our leadership skills. And now, Maren, we come to a section of our More podcast that we are all looking forward to, the sound souvenir. Like all my guests, you also bring along a specific sound that is characteristic of your new work situation. And I'm curious, Maren, let us hear, what sound did you bring? And let's see if I can find it out what it is.
Okay, yes. So.
Okay, that's easy. There are birds chirping.
Yes. Not so difficult to guess.
Yeah. Okay, so singing birds, and what does it mean for you? What is it?
Yeah, for me, I mentioned several times intentional breaks. For me, if I make a break, I'm very lucky. I live in the green. I go down, so I have the movement, the staircases, get a glass of water or coffee, and get into my garden and listen to the birds for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. That's really my energy. Gives me energy back.
And while you listen to the birds, what do you think about? What are you feeling then?
I say it's relaxation and also happiness. And when I'm in home office, I'm very much focused on business and doing. So there is a world outside. This life is still going on. This is also my message. What I see. Sometimes I hear also children screaming and laughing. So there is still life outside.
Yeah, there's a life outside Metro.
Yes.
And, okay. Thank you, Maren, for the great sound. And thank you for being here today to tell us something about leadership. It was very, very exciting and very, very interesting.
Thanks a lot, Bernd, for the invitation. It was a pleasure.
Great. And also thank you to you for listening. In the next More podcast episode, we will talk about agile working and how agile methods can make our work easier and help us to create better results. You can find all our podcast episodes on the More page on United and on all major podcast platforms like Apple or Google Podcasts or on Spotify. Just enter in the search Metro and More, and then you can easily subscribe to More podcasts. It's very simple. Okay, Metro Heroes, thanks again. Stay healthy, stay safe. Bye-bye and take care.
Bye-bye from my side. Take care.